Hey everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can turn your text into speech that sounds like an actual human being using ElevenLabs. Unlike many text-to-speech apps with low trial limits, expensive paid levels, and flat voices, ElevenLabs is different. They have a catalog of voices that sound like real people. These voices pause, emphasize the right words, and even add emotions in all the right places. And it's not limited to one language. The latest model supports over 70 languages. So no matter what your audience speaks, you're covered. The best part is, if you want to sound like yourself, a friend, or a fictional character, ElevenLabs allows you to clone voices. What is more, the pricing is affordable for creators, not just big studios. How can you use it? The interface might look a little intimidating, but it's actually quite simple. Even if you've never touched a tool like this before, this is going to feel surprisingly easy. Before anything else, we'll need an account. I've included a link to ElevenLabs in the description below. Using it is a great way to support the channel, and I would really appreciate it. Click sign up, and you'll see a couple of options. Usually Google Login or email. I'm going to use Google Login here, simply because it's faster and I don't feel like creating another password. But if you prefer email, go ahead and choose that. Once you're in, you'll see plan options. You can start with the free plan, not because it's the best, but because it lets you understand how everything works before you commit. You can always upgrade later when you get the lay of the land. Now that you're inside, let's take a quick tour. The first and most important place is the playground, which is where you'll spend most of your time. Next is the voice library, which is exactly what it sounds like, a collection of voices you can preview, explore, and add when you want more variety or a specific tone. Then there's My Voices, which is your personal shelf, the voices you've chosen, saved, or created. The site saves your choices here, so you don't have to hunt for the same voice every time you come back. First, text-to-speech demo. All right, let's create something together. We'll head back to the playground screen. Over here, the layout is divided in two. You are directed to type or paste your text on the left, then choose voice and settings on the right. So click inside the text box on the left and type something simple like, this is a test to hear how this voice sounds. Now on the right side, pick the default voice. Once your sentence is in place and the default voice is selected, click Generate. The tool will go through the text-to-speech flow, take your text, pick up the voice, and produce an audio. Simple. As the audio plays back, listen for natural pauses and how human it sounds. Like what you hear? You've gotten your first results. And you didn't need to be an expert to make this happen. But if you didn't, let's see how to refine your result. Voice Selection Masterclass. The first way is by choosing the perfect voice. ElevenLabs has a few types of voices you can choose from. The official guide calls these different voices sources, the built-in voices. Voices you've added from the library and any you've created yourself. Default voices are the ready-made ones that come with your account. Pick these first if you're just starting because they're stable and tuned for general speech. The voice library contains thousands of voices you can browse and choose from. You can filter these voices by language, accent, gender, or style in the library. Preview them and then add the ones you like to My Voices so they show up in your main list. Custom voices is for when you want to clone or design your own voice. Now, there is a rule you should always remember when selecting voices. It is best to match the voice's language to the language of your text. If your text is in English, use an English voice. If it's Spanish, use a Spanish voice. If you mix them, the pronunciation is likely to get awkward. Now, since the voice is built for one language, it will try to guess the pronunciation of strange words. Also, remember that the voice determines tone, pacing, accent, and how easy it will be for your audience to enjoy your audio. So instead of clicking any voice you see, find one that matches your content's purpose. Once you have the right voice, everything you generate after that will start sounding much closer to what you actually want. Model and slides. Now that you've got a handle on picking the right voice that matches your text's mood and purpose, the next step is figuring out how to make that voice actually perform. Think of it like this. Picking a voice is like choosing an actor, but the model and slides are the directors guiding the performance. Even the best actor can deliver a dull scene if the direction is off. So even the most dynamic voice can sound flat if the settings are mismatched. These models are 11 v3, Multilingual v2, Flash, and Turbo. Each one does the same thing, that they turn text into audio, but they differ in things like expressiveness, speed, and even stability. Let's start with 11 v3. This is the most expressive model available right now. It handles emotion really well. You can even use audio tags to add things like whispers or laughter. It supports over 70 languages and is good, or if you're working on something that needs real human-like nuance, like audiobooks or media with multiple characters. It's powerful, but a bit slower and more complex. If you're making narrative content, storytelling, or anything where emotional shading matters, you should try this model, Multilingual V2. This model isn't quite as expressive as V3, but it's steadier and is great for long and clear voiceovers. Most creators stick with this for things like YouTube narration, longer explanations, e-learning audio, or content where lifelike but not dramatic speech is needed. Flash V2.5. If you need a fast-paced voice, like in interactive applications, games, chat responses, or voice bots, Flash is built for you. It sacrifices a little richness and expression for response time, but it's clear and natural enough to use. Use this if you're reacting to user input. Turbo V2.5. Now Turbo sits between multilingual and Flash. It's faster than multilingual but still has decent quality, so it is a good choice. But if you need a balance of speed and professionalism, don't get confused. I have a simple rule you can follow. When choosing models for YouTube videos or audiobooks, start with Multilingual V2 or 11 V3 if you want more expression. If you need speed or live interaction, pick Flash V2.5. But if you want balance of speed and quality, choose Turbo V2.5. Voice settings. Once you've picked a model, it's time to control how the voice behaves. There are some slides under voice settings that can help. Stability controls how consistent or varied the voice is. If you slide it up too high, the voice will keep the same steady tone, but if you slide it down, the voice will have more variety. Think of having high stability as predictable delivery and low stability as more expressive delivery. Then there is similarity, which tells the system how closely it should sound like the original voice it's imitating. If you turn it up, it will stick closer to the recorded characteristics of the voice. If you turn it down, the voice might sound a little different from the original. Speed makes the speech faster or slower. Its default is 1.0. Values below this number slow down the audio. Values above speed it up. So you use slower for introspection or summaries or storytelling. Faster for summaries or quick explanations. Finally, style exaggeration. This one amplifies the expressive style of the voice and adds a little more personality or dramatic flair. But it can also make the voice less stable. Most people leave this as 0 until they have a clear reason to use it. The easiest way to understand these settings is to run the same sentence through different models, while moving one slider at a time. As you switch, listen to the changes in the voice. But what if you don't have a laptop or a desktop? You can still do all of this from your phone. You can use a mobile browser or the ElevenLabs mobile app, so you can still convert text to lifelike speech, play it back, and build a small voice library, all without opening a computer. On your phone's browser instead of the app, the workflow is almost the same as the desktop. Log into ElevenLabs.io, go to the playground, paste your text, choose a voice, and click Generate. The interface shrinks to fit your screen, but the elements are the same. Text input on the left and voice controls on the right. You can adjust models, pick voices, and generate audio just like you can on your desktop. Once the audio is generated, you can download the file directly on your phone by tapping the download icon that will appear next to the playback controls. ElevenLabs gives you choices, MP3 or WAV, with different bit rates. MP3 is smaller, perfect for YouTube, TikTok, or quick demos. WAV or WAV is larger, higher fidelity, and better for podcasts or audiobooks. Bitrate affects clarity. 128 kbps is fine for casual use. 192 to 320 is better for cleaner, more professional sounding content. Higher quality takes more space, but it's worth it when your voice is central to your project. If you're on iOS and the download panel looks unfamiliar, simply choose Save to Files or Save to Device when prompted. Voice cloning. Now let's talk about one of my favorite features, voice cloning. ElevenLabs allows you to clone voices you love. You can do that in 2 ways. Instant voice cloning works with short samples. You upload a short recording, typically around a minute, and the system creates a voice model that sounds like the original. It also doesn't train a long-running model. It just uses the short sample to study the timbre and style so that you can generate new lines in that voice. But professional voice cloning takes longer. This method uses longer audio and usually provides higher fidelity and nuance. But it requires more steps, verification, and sometimes a paid plan. And this is very important. You should never clone someone without their explicit permission. This isn't just about a technical rule, it's about ethics and respect. If you clone your own voice, that's fine. But if someone else's voice is involved, get clear consent. Consent means they know and agree with what you're doing and why you're doing it. Creating or using someone's voice without permission can cause legal trouble. Away from that, cloning is impressive. Imagine hearing your words come out in someone else's voice. To wrap it up, let's talk about common mistakes and how to fix them. If your voice still comes off as unnatural, it might be that the stability setting is too high or too low. A high stability setting will make the voice too flat, so lowering it a bit will help it with some variation that will make it sound more human. What if you run out of credits too fast? Don't panic. Simply optimize your usage by splitting long scripts into chunks. You can also experiment with drafts and lower quality models when you are still testing, and only generate final takes in higher quality. And finally, what about if the voice still gives a weird pronunciation of a specific word? That's usually a problem from the text itself, so don't write them in number forms, spell them out, or rephrase the line. Now, you've got the full roadmap. You know how to write good text, pick the right voice, fine-tune models and settings, and even handle longer projects. You're no longer stuck with those flat robotic voices. You can make something that actually talks to people. If this video helped you understand ElevenLabs, hit like. It tells me I should make more practical guides like this. And honestly, if you've got a question or you want a deeper dive into voice cloning, models, or mobile tricks, drop a comment down below. I'll read every single one and maybe make the next video about it. Now go ahead and open ElevenLabs and make your first voice. You've got this.